Right, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by the event organiser for the World Marathon Challenge, Richard Donovan. Hi Richard, how have things gone so far according to the logistics of the event?
Well, everything has gone great, to be honest. We got in and out of the Antarctic on time, which is very unusual. The Antarctic is a continent that's prone to delays, and in organising this I actually had to anticipate that there would be a delay and deal with the whole idea of changing onward flights. But we went in there, the weather was very good, and we got out on time.
Great, and in terms of organising the event itself, Richard, how much planning was required?
There's a huge amount of planning behind this. It is a logistical nightmare. As I say, you have to go into the Antarctic, anticipate delays, and then figure out a way, if there is a delay, of still getting the whole event done within 168 hours or 7 days. So that involves getting the ability to change flights and put people on ongoing flights and still make that happen. Luckily for us, we didn't have to do it, but we still had to plan for that.
Absolutely. And how do you think the participants have fared so far in the challenge?
The competitors are doing great at the moment. We've got 4 marathons down. We've done the Antarctic, we've done South America at Punta Arenas, we've done Miami, and now we've just finished in Madrid. We're going on to Marrakesh tonight, so there's a tight timeline tonight where it's 4:30 here in Madrid at the moment when I'm talking, and we'll be running at midnight in Marrakesh.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a very difficult challenge. And you're someone, Richard, who holds the world record for the quickest time to do 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days. So you know better than anyone what these guys are going through. So how much of a challenge is still remaining in these 3 days for them?
Yeah, in many respects it kind of starts now. You've got 4 marathons done, you're over halfway there, but you're not sniffing the finish line yet. And what happens is the cumulative fatigue, the airline travel, the temperature variations, the lack of sleep, the probably inadequate diet, it all catches up with you around this point. So I suspect when we get to Marrakesh, we'll probably have a few people actually physically getting sick, or certainly that will start by the time we get to Dubai.
Absolutely. And do you see this challenge, Richard, as more of a physical or mental challenge? Which is the greater challenge?
You know, I suppose from an organisational point of view, it's definitely a logistical challenge, and it is for the athletes as well, Ben. But it is a mental challenge. I mean, each of these events, you would say on paper there's a generous cut-off, but when you're really fatigued going into your next marathon, 26 miles is going to feel like 52 miles. And like any ultra marathon, it's more of a mental endeavour than a physical endeavour. And they're essentially covering 7 marathons in 7 days, but with all this travel in between, that's definitely mentally tiring, and you need to overcome your body screaming at you to stop, and you need the mental willpower to overcome that and keep going.
For sure. And just coming on to your career as an athlete briefly, Richard, what do you see as your greatest achievement as Richard Donovan, the athlete?
I wouldn't say I had any great achievements, to be honest.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I've been injured for a while, and been out of the game for a while, but I'm starting back now, and what I hope to do is run across the Antarctic later in the year.
Wow.
And I would regard that as something different anyway, if I succeed in doing it.
And what is your biggest motivation? Who or what inspires you above anyone else?
I don't think I have anybody who particularly inspires me. I like to do things that are different, that are possibly first. I suppose even in the way that I started events, starting the North Pole Marathon, it was brand new, and I like that kind of challenge. And much like this one, organising 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days, I like the challenge of the logistics, the little bit of risk, doing something different and feeling like you're living your life.
Without a doubt. And speaking of living life, Richard, what do you think marathon running can do to people in terms of maybe altering their outlook on their everyday life?
Well, it certainly does. You'll find on this trip, for example, you develop a lot of camaraderie with other people. You get to see places you otherwise mightn't see. Like, nobody here running this would probably have gone into the Antarctic for any other reason but to run a marathon down there. And you know, going into the Antarctic, for example, is a life-changing experience, or even going to the North Pole. People will definitely describe their lives as pre-pole and post-pole. There is a dividing line there where you see things completely differently. You know, you're into this wilderness that very few people have seen. And you know, it's marathon running that has brought you there, and that's happening increasingly. You can, you know, run marathons in the jungle, obviously in deserts, almost anywhere.
And what do you hope this challenge can achieve? Do you think it could be the start of something, getting people more into extreme type challenges?
I'm not sure generally I'm expecting to do that, but certainly I'm hoping to make the World Marathon Challenge an annual event. I think you know, there's something about 777 that, you know, captures people's imagination, and we're seeing that on Facebook. There are thousands and thousands of people looking at every single post and following it over the past few days.
Without a doubt. And lastly, Richard, as we just see Tim coming through there. Well done, Tim. What would be your one piece of advice to someone who's thinking of getting into marathon running but maybe isn't sure how, or doesn't know if they've got what it takes?
You just don't overanalyze it. You know, a lot of people are, you know, looking too much, I think, at diet, you know, looking at, you know, should I do a 5K before I do a 10K, you know, and they're entirely different events, you know. Yeah. The longer you run, the slower you're going to run. You know, there's a different kind of effort in all of this. So I would say just go out and do it. You know, it's a simple thing to do. Get a pair of runners, get a pair of shorts, and go out for a run.
Absolutely. Well, great message there, Richard. Thanks so much for talking to us. It's a fantastic thing you're doing here, Richard. It really is. And well done, and all the best with what is left of this event.
Thanks a million.